We're talking cold email marketing today, and especially how to get clients for cold email consistently every single week. We're going to dive in deep on the exact way I do this for my clients and for myself, and stick around to the end, because at the end I'm going to show you how from 182 emails just a couple of weeks ago I got one multi-thousand-pound deal, and this is through the exact way I'm going to show you, so definitely stick around. Before we continue, definitely hit the subscribe button and the bell button, because I'm bringing out videos like this every single week. So the first decision we're going to have to make is what automation tool we're going to use, what automation software. I have a whole video around this, like where I review the top 7. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to use my favorite, which is Woodpecker, and there's a link below if you want to use this as well. But basically, it's really important to mix personalization with automation. You need to get automation to help you scale these campaigns, because if you can, you don't want to be sending 50 emails manually every single day. It's going to take a lot of time. If you can find a way to scale this where you don't have to be there and it doesn't take too much of your time, that's even better. We don't want to be sending thousands of emails for sure every single day. That's not what we're trying to do here, and I don't recommend that. And you're going to see exactly what I do and what I do recommend, which is much more to do with personalization, but just using automation to free up our time and scale the personalization as much as we can. So the first thing to do is sign up to one of these automation cold email automation tools, such as woodpecker.co. There's other ones, Hunter, Snovio, Lemlist, Mailshake. Sign up to any one of these, is totally fine. I'll put one at Woodpecker in the link below. And so after that, the first step is to get a list of prospects, right? We need to get a long list of prospects. And what you need to do is, there's numerous ways you can do this. But for example, the majority of the best ways, or the majority of our B2B type of people is on LinkedIn. This is the go-to for most people. But you might want to go to Crunchbase, for example, and get a bunch of tech companies that just raise money, and you can go on Upwork and ask someone to scrape that data for you, and it'll cost you maybe couple $100, and you'll get a list of 4,000 prospects with their email addresses. So you can go to Crunchbase, you can go to AngelList, you can go to any database which has your prospect. If you're looking for freelancers, you might want to go to a place where people are pitching and trying to get jobs with freelancers or creatives. So there are lots of different places. You just need to find a pool of data of where these people hang out, and then you need to find a way to scrape that. And one way you can scrape that is with Phantom Buster. So that scrapes loads of different places on the web. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to make another video just all about like scraping and how to get data from different places. But let's stick with LinkedIn, because it's the most commonly used and it's a great source of data and information. So basically, if we go to LinkedIn, we can use the search parameters to find our ICP, ideal client profile. And again, I'm going to make another video on the ICP specifically, but this is a really important thing. It's not this is not part of this video today, but you really need to work out what your ideal client profile is. And this is going to work so much better. All the conversion rates are going to be better. Your messaging is going to be better. And if you have more than one ideal client profile, or if you have different segments of the market, maybe you're tackling founders of the smaller companies and marketing managers of the larger companies, right? I would separate those two and communicate to those different segments differently, even though you potentially can get both. But one might be a bigger type of client, a bigger type of deal, and they need to be communicated in a different type of way, maybe more technical. The other one needs to be more visionary, talk about the big picture and what they can get from it. So they're different types of people, although they both potentially can hire you. So yeah, you need to work out what your segments are within your ICP, but first you need to work out what your ICP is, which is your ideal client profile. And that's really important. Definitely check out the video when I release that on that, or just go research it before this stage. Once you know who it is you want to target, let's say my ICP is B2B SaaS founders, right? They need to do LinkedIn advertising, which is what I do professionally for them. I do paid social. So let's go. So you can do that in the search. Say we do, let's call it actually CMOs, because I've got it here. And that's also a segment of my, it's a CMOs of any larger software company that's raised any money. So let's have a look. We can go to people, and then you go to all filters here, and it doesn't have to be second or third, it doesn't matter. Let's call it in the UK. And if we scroll down here, for me, it's really important to have computer software, and English speaking would help, but that's not 100% necessary. I could have actually French Portuguese and German because I'm in Europe. And this doesn't matter. So we're just going to search for that. So here we have a list of basically my ideal client profile in CMOs in the software industry, chief marketing officer, Forster. And so double check this for sure. Who's this guy? He works for Forster, which is responsible for global marketing operations. Forster newly merged business focused vision. Okay, I mean, it sounds all right. So basically, you can go much deeper into this and get the parameters exactly right for you. Basically, we have a long list here. I have 45 pages of potential people to do outreach to. I prefer Sales Navigator. I have Sales Navigator. It costs a bit of money, but you can basically do a better, more specific search with Sales Navigator. And if you can afford it and you want to go down this road, definitely get it. It's really great. So for example, you can do, go to all filters and, actually don't even do that. Do it down here. Title, CMO, VP of marketing, VP of Vice President Marketing. Where's that? Vice President Marketing. I mean, if it depends, I'd segment marketing directors and above versus marketing managers, for example. But let's go for these guys. Industry is software for me, for example, computer software. Geography is, let's say UK, although I do Europe generally. United Kingdom, and I can even go to Europe, actually, if the list's not that big, because I service anyone who is generally in Europe or even in the US. Let's call it Europe. Company headcount, I want to make sure that they're big enough to be able to afford my service. So I go for 51 to 200. And if that's not big enough, I would also then go for internet companies, which then brings up to 1,000. So I got 1,000 people here. Search, and now we can check out exactly how good these people are. So buy power, the buy power platform. So it sounds like a software company appear here. Oh, these guys are quite cool. I actually know them from London. Lutheran. So this is a software. Lutheran is a leading e-commerce platform. So yeah, some kind of software company. So this looks really good. So like each of these individuals potentially might want to do demand generation and specifically LinkedIn advertising or outbound. So they might be able to hire me. And therefore I'm going to do an outbound campaign to them and tell them of how I can help them. But here I've got a list of people. So now, once you've got the list where you want it from, say it's just, and now we need to get their email addresses. And one way I found to do this really, really well is actually with Snovio, snov.io. I'll put a link in the description below of the YouTube place. There'll be a link down there. But if you go to snov.io and you just sign up to it, I've got a video around this you can watch, but it's really simple. Just sign up to it, and once you've signed up, then you're going to have to download. You have to put the LinkedIn Prospect Finder extension on your browser. Again, I've got a video of how to do this, so check that out if you don't know. But once you've got that there, then you go back to your search results, and it's really easy. You just click on snov.io, and it comes up here, and you can basically find emails and save. So if you do that, find emails and save, and it's going to go out and just take all this data, and within minutes you're going to have a list of prospects on snov.io. I really love this. And here it goes. It's not going to be able to find all the email addresses, but it finds quite a few. And it'll give you like how sure. So this is a risky email, for example, and you don't have to use it. You can only use the green ones. This one is, very risky, but you get basically a lot of green ones, and it's that simple. You literally just get a long list of email addresses from LinkedIn. It's so cool. Snov.io is highly, highly recommended. I used to use 2 or 3 different tools to get to the same place, and it'll take me like a few days because I have to scrape the data, upload it to Drop Contact or Hunter or whatever, and then get the email addresses that way. And it'll take super long. This is just all through one tool called Snov.io, and this is a really great way just to get the email addresses. And after that, you can just download them to here, and you get basically a list of email addresses, the first name, last name. That's all you kind of need for the purpose of this stage here. Now we actually have to like write the email and write one which is going to get a really good response. And it's, writing the outbound email, we can break up into a few different sections. So we have the subject line. Obviously the subject line is going to affect the open rate directly. So the subject line is really important to A/B test in your automation software that you say woodpecker.co. One of the functions it needs to have is A/B testing all these different things. Because if you can increase your open rate by quite a bit, you should be trying to get a 50% open rate or more. Most people in the industry will say 20% is an average. That is a load of crap. Don't go for 20%. You need to go for 50%, and you can achieve that. It's not that hard. Just A/B test your subject line. Then the next part, and I'll go into this in a minute, the next part is the first liner. And again, this is going to affect your open rate, because when you see your email box, you can see the first snippet, the first bit of line coming out. It's like, hey, blah, 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 blah. You're going to see that. So you're going to see subject line, then you're going to see the first bit. And that's, you're going to subconsciously or consciously judge whether or not that email's for you. I mean, you're trying to battle, basically. The number one thing you're trying to battle here is to make yourself look like the email's genuine from a real person, and it's important because we all open our inbox every single day and see either newsletters we've subscribed to which are not relevant and we haven't been bothered to unsubscribe to. I do this way too much. Or, for example, emails that are just sales emails which are automated spam. So it's someone who just sent thousands of emails which are generic. So if we see that, we kind of filter that in our brain, and we're filtering really quickly. Okay, what's important? What do I have to check? Okay, I don't want to check that. People are busy, so you need to get through that filter they have in their inbox. And the way you're going to do that is with these two elements, is basically the subject line, which is, you need to make it sound really personal. And what I'm going to say about that is the standard call this week works really well. But if you're doing it for just connected with you on LinkedIn, if you're doing an omni-channel thing, which I'll go over in the next section, then you can do that. That works quite well. You can say just, do you have 20 minutes, or are you available next week? Or, I wouldn't focus too much on having the grammar and even capitals in the right places. Don't bother to. Gotta make it feel like, it's just your colleague or someone you bumped into the other day sent you an email, or, someone that, someone who is more personal to you or connected to you has just sent you the email. You don't always, when you're sending an email to someone, you're not triple checking, caps on the subject line. You're just pumping out, hey, do you have time for, you called this week, or just connected with you. So you're trying to make it as personal as possible. You're fighting the fact that everyone's going too far in automation, and we're going through that filter. So that's the subject line. The opening is not that important, but the intro is very important. So that first liner is what I'm going to talk about now. The first liner is, I would organize my spreadsheet something like this, to have first name, second name, and then first liner, and then profile URL. And the reason is that I personally personalize that first liner every single time. And this is how I get the big response rates, because I find either something tongue-in-cheek to talk about, but basically this is the only thing that takes a lot of effort, and actually it takes about 3 to 4 minutes per individual. The rest is automated, the rest just goes out, but you need to sit down for a few hours or pay someone on Upwork to do this for you. And basically you go out and you click on each individual profile, you find something to connect with, something tongue-in-cheek, something that works. A little story that works for me really well is that before I used to call myself a growth manager. I'm the founder, but I'm the growth guy. So I call myself growth manager, and I would then just reach out to other growth managers in other companies who potentially need this service. And I would just say, the ones that had more fancy growth names, and there's some really weird ones, I would always say, oh, I wish I had such a fancy title as you. I'm just a growth manager. And I would get nearly 100% reply rate, because it's slightly tongue-in-cheek. It's obviously personalized. I've obviously checked on them, and I've gone past that filter. Literally anything that's a bit unique, a little bit tongue-in-cheek or a little bit different, it's going to get you 100% reply rates. Other than that, the next step below that is just to connect with them in a personal way. So especially if it's related to what you do. So the way I do that is actually just go to LinkedIn. So I have this spreadsheet in front of me. I've blocked a bunch of hours of time in my day, or I've paid someone else to do this. And then I just go through each one individually. I click on the profile, it takes me to the link. It's all organized, and it takes about 3 to 4 minutes per profile. Sometimes I'm lucky and it takes me 1 minute. Sometimes there's really hard. So I'm going to now show you exactly where to go, what to look at, and how to make, systemize this process. Click to the guy on LinkedIn or girl, and first thing I check is a quick win. Do they go to the same university as me, or is there something that I can relate to them here? No, they didn't. I went to University of Sussex. They didn't go there. So then the next thing I straight away do is just browse if there's anything I can connect with there. Is there a company I've worked with before or something like that? If not, I go to see all activity and I go directly to post. And I like this one the most. If they've written an article, which this guy has, and a lot of them haven't, so, I'll tell you what to do if they haven't. But if they have, that's really great. So this guy wrote an article 2 weeks ago and he's writing articles. So let's get his most recent article and click on it. And if they have written an article, I would go into the article, read it, or at least, skim it. Find a specific, and this is important. Find a specific. Don't just say, "Hey, I just saw your article on that. It looked really cool." Like, that's too generic. Still, get more specific. Go into the article. And read it and go, when it's all rolled out, Horizon was the largest non-military IT. Just say, look, I read your article on, so the first line would be, I read your article on Fujitsu bosses who know about post office Horizon IT flaws. I found it super interesting, especially the bit about how, to my knowledge, something specific. I haven't read it, and I'm not going to do this in this YouTube channel because I'll probably end up boring you. But go into the article, try to read a few different bits, find a bit and say, especially this specific point I found super interesting. Imagine if you've written an article, you want people to like it, you want people to engage with it. So you're putting yourself out there writing. So if someone emails you going, "Hey, I read your article," you're straight away, going to their ego, you're going to the part of their brain where they're like, "Oh, cool, someone's, read my email or noticed what I've done," and you're complimenting them on that. You've got them at this point, and that's when you can go to the next step, which is the pitch, which I'll go into in a minute. But so that's that. Go straight to the article section. If they've got that, I find this is a winner every time. A lot of people don't have that. Sorry, that wasn't his article. That was a post. But let's go back. If he's written an article, he has, but it's a long time ago. You get the point. If that was his article, then you could do that. If not, so excuse that. But if not, then you go to the post. But you get the point. If that was his article, that's what you would have done. And, some of these people do write articles and they're trying to get noticed. If not, then I go to posts. And he's just reposted this article, fair enough. And so basically the post office provides a shocking example, and he's just copied Computer Weekly. It's not by him, but you can then refer back. So if the article, let's go to different articles to confuse things. So you can go with this, you can say, "Hey, I noticed a few of your posts, a couple of your posts." So forgetting, if he hasn't written an article, I'll go to this post. And if he's been posting, then you can say, "I've noticed a couple of your posts on my feed, and it was quite interesting. I found the one about April Fool's jokes quite interesting, with the runaway dining at $440. Thanks for that." You're engaging with his posts that he's doing. He's being noticed again. This is not as good as the article one, but it's, still good. You're still showing. The trick here is that you've put a little bit of time into recognizing him, into doing something personalized for him. And this is something that he, is putting himself out there. So you're recognizing him. So it's all about just cutting through the automation crap, the spam, showing you're not a spam person, you're a real person and you've taken the time. So even if it's not even the greatest thing to engage with, you've shown to him that you've really put in some effort and you've checked him out for real and not for, pretending. So that's the next one. If he hasn't been posting, which happens all the time, check out all the activity, and if there's not much there and any documents, I've never really seen many people do that. If there's not much there, then I will go back to his profile and I'll just try to find anything. Is there anything out here? Is there anything, if not, I would always start with the person. If not, then I would go to his company, right? So if there's still nothing to go for, I'd click on the company. He's the regional sales director of Strim. And I'll go check out, okay, they've raised 50 million. That's quite good, actually. I think I'd like to reach out to this guy. Strim.com and, the Strim platform. So now you should say something more about what Strim has done. So go to the post is the first thing I'll do and check, know the difference between log. Do they have any announcements? Check if they've just done something cool. Maybe they've made some cool hires. Maybe they've just... maybe they've just done something really awesome, or if not, then also you can check out their website and you can compliment something on the website. Always go for their personal self rather than company, I would say. But if it's a founder, then go to what they're interested in. For example, I do LinkedIn ads, so I could check if they've run any ads. And it looks like they haven't. So I can comment on, I've noticed you didn't run any ads. I checked out your profile, noticed you're not running any ads. And I can even take a screenshot or do anything more advanced like that. But yeah, just you're trying to find something they've done, something to compliment them about. And that's it. That's the first liner. So yeah, some examples. If you find nothing, then just go to the generic one. It's fine. It's not perfect, but go to, I came across you on LinkedIn, which is sometimes, I came across Octopus as a B2B marketing person, looks really great. So this one, Octopost is a B2B, is trying to hit B2B marketing people, which is me. So as a B2B, that works. Came across speech graphics on LinkedIn. So cool. You guys worked on a Kanye West music video, right? So that's really cool. Congrats on getting through Next Media Accelerator. It must have been tough. I saw you had a webinar a couple months ago. How did it go? I came across Big Change on LinkedIn. Looks like a really exciting concept. I came across Matter by Saffron and thought the business idea was super interesting. As a founder of a couple interesting businesses myself, congrats. I saw you hit a 5 million message market on Unibuddy. Congrats. This is something someone was shouting about. So personalize that first line, and that's how you do it. Make sure your spreadsheet's nice and neat, and then you've got the first liner. Going back to the copy, once you've got the subject line and the first liner sorted, then you need the pitch. And the pitch is, once you've engaged with them, you can now hit them with the pitch. And the pitch is basically saying, should be focused more on how you can help them, not about you. And you can name drop. If you can say, if they have competitors you've worked with, then name drop them. That works really well. Like, I worked with similar companies such as this guy and this guy, and I got them these results. You can do that, even though that's about you, but you want it to be about the person more. So I help companies like yours. These are the kind of companies I've helped achieve X, Y, and Z. And I think I can do this for you. I notice you're at this stage of your growth, and I can help you, I believe, by doing X, Y, and Z. And, so you're pitching what you do and why you think they should get on the phone with you. And it's all about how you can help them and not about you. Don't make it like me. Make it about them. How you can help them. So it's all about them. And what I would do is actually just do at least 3 different versions. So I have one with like bullet points. I have one with like just framing it in different ways. And I think that's the most important thing as well, to ABC test at least. Definitely just try to write the pitch in 3 different ways, and we can just upload this in the automation software, and then it's just going to test us and it's going to tell us which one is doing well. The final part of this is the call to action. So again, I don't think it's that important, but one thing I'll do with the call to action is end with a question. I see this a lot where people just end with a full stop, which is, if you've got time, let me know, full stop. that's not going to work. Keep it with a question mark. Like, get quite specific. Do you have time this week? Do you have time tomorrow? Do you have time tomorrow at 2 p.m. or Wednesday at 3 p.m. To jump on a call, to talk about this? And I would also do, a lot of people, when I do this for them as clients, I always ask for something quite low friction to get a bit of, it's all about just getting your foot in the door and starting an initial conversation. And I say, okay, do you have time for a 15-minute phone call or 20-minute phone call? And a lot of clients of mine will be like, oh no, but our demo takes like 45 minutes. I don't want a 15-minute phone call. I want a 45-minute phone call. I would actually say phone call number one, if you're a B2B SaaS company, or even as a consultant or freelancer, is not about selling too much or anything at all. Phone call number one from outbound should be about just consulting them and asking them a question. So you should be the doctor, and this is a sales thing, but you should be the doctor inquiring about their problems rather than just diving and trying to shove a solution in their face. You should just be inquisitive, asking loads of questions. Where are you at with your business? What are your goals? What do you want to achieve in the next 6 months? Why do you think what I do is interesting for you? You're just being inquisitive, and by the end of it, you go, look, I really think what I can do for you can help you. I've helped these people. Maybe we can schedule in, if you don't have the time now, maybe we can schedule in tomorrow or the day after. I'm going to take you through the entire platform. And that's where the pitch happens, and that's where the sale happens in that demo. But with a lot of people are like, oh, I want to do that straight away with phone call number one. Phone call number one should be more about whether or not you guys potentially can be a good fit for one another. So that's the copy section. Now I'm going to go into the automation side within the tool itself. So one thing that's really important is deliverability, and you want to make sure you get this right. So I'm just going to give you a few tips now on deliverability, but deliverability is basically making sure your email actually even gets into their inbox and doesn't get stopped by an ISP, or doesn't just end up in the spam box. And ideally you're trying to get into the priority box. So some tips are basically, you need to make sure you're sending, first things first, set up a new domain, because if things do go wrong and you get blacklisted for whatever reason, it's a massive pain in the ass if it's on your main domain and you can't send emails for a while. So set up a new domain. So if you're my company's called superlumen.co, I might try superlumen.co.uk for UK clients, cold email, or superlumen with a different extension, or maybe just lumen.co. But set up a different domain for your cold email outreach. I would just recommend that, but we shouldn't need to do that. I mean, ultimately you should, if you follow the guidance of this video tutorial, you shouldn't get there. If you're personalizing everything, you're not sending too many emails at once, and you're getting good response rate, good open rates, you're never going to get there. In fact, you're going to be building the trust of your domain. Your domain trust will be going up if you do things properly, and you'll get more and more into the main folder, not the spam folder. So first step is just change your domain just in case. Second one is don't send too many emails to start with. Start slowly, work your way up. So maybe start with 10, 20 emails in week one, and then build yourself up to 40, 50, 60, and 70 in week three. So you're not trying to send too many, you're sending them out slowly. You're building up to a larger amount of 75 emails a day, rather than doing 75 emails from day one, because that's a really good way of just freaking all the different things that could block you, like Gmail or the ISPs, out. So don't do that. Build yourself up slowly. Next one is throttling. Make sure they're not all going out at the exact same time. So you're doing 75 emails at 9 a.m. on Monday morning, and your software tool like woodpecker.co, Lemlist, Mailshake, they all have a throttling tool. So they're going out from your email once every, if you're doing 75 a day, every half an hour, you're getting an email out, whatever that timing is. So throttling is really important, and definitely use one of these automation tools for that. The next one is you need to have a really clean list. So we got the emails from snovio.io, that's great. And we got a really good list from LinkedIn. So LinkedIn has really up-to-date B2B data, but some people get their list from all sorts of weird places. As my clients sometimes come to me with a list, and they don't really know where it came from. Maybe they got some from Upwork, or they bought a list. Be very careful with any bought lists. Just scrape your own data. The bought lists can be very dangerous, because if you start doing this and you get a lot of emails which are wrong or they are old or something like this, you're going to get really quickly flagged as a spammer, and it's going to be cause you loads of problems. So just get a really good list as described in the first thing. But the second thing you can do is you can put this list in to something like never bounce. This is actually really good. It checks the email deliverability, and it's just a really good tool. So it does cost a little bit more. You have to pay for snov.io, but then you can also would have to then pay for this as well. I don't know how much it is. But if you want to be really careful, and I do recommend it, to be completely honest, it doesn't have to be Never Bounce. It can be any of these email deliverability tools, but it is worth actually paying that extra amount, making sure you're getting a really high rate of really high quality emails, and most of them are really, really good. So you could do that. And the last thing is just keep an eye on the metrics. If your tool, say woodpecker.co or Lemlist or whatever, will be showing you how many emails that are getting into the spam box, how many replies you're getting, how many opens you're getting. If you're getting really good open rates, really good replies, you're actually building trust with your domain, which is great, rather than the opposite. But if you're getting really low open rates, really low reply rates, just take a step back, pause the campaign, and check what's going on, what's not, and maybe start testing different things. But deliverability is, actually the first step, because you need to get into the person's inbox. And over time, you might even become like a priority where it gets a little yellow tag on the side, which is really important, which is really great. So yeah, deliverability. So as a bonus, because you stuck around this and you stayed this far, I'm going to show you a little bonus tip where, I showed you that first line is personalization. Well, actually, if you sign up to Lemlist, they have some features where you can have dynamic pages. And I'm going to show you something which is really scalable and works really well by using these dynamic elements. It's a bit more expensive. Lemlist's more advanced features cost $99 a month. So it's up to you if you pay that. But actually, it saved me a lot of time not having to pay someone to do those first liners or spending days doing those first liners. Either way, you need to find some way of personalization. But I came up with a concept during lockdown, which has been working really well for me. The latest campaign I sent 182 emails recently, got 67% open rate, which is really awesome. The reply rate doesn't matter because a lot of people weren't replying because I had a calendar embedded there and there, so people weren't really replying that much. But I had 7 meetings and 1 multi-1,000-pound deal. Each time I get a client, I get a few £1,000s in their lifetime value. So I have a higher lifetime value. But I got 1 client from 182 emails sent, and it was all easy. And this is really scalable for me. I can be sending this out every single week, and I could be getting clients basically every single week. I can be scaling my outbound, and all you really need is one good outbound cold email strategy, and you can scale it and you can open up, get as many clients as you want. And the great thing about this is once you feel really confident about getting clients, you can start raising your prices, because I know the majority of people out there, the number one mistake people have are they charge too little if you're doing consultancy work. But anyway, if you're doing B2B SaaS, this is just a really great way to get on the phone to engage with people. I'm going to show you how I did it. Instead of doing the first liner, you need to have some kind of personalization. And Lemlist has been quite good at creating automated personalization, trying to mix those two concepts together. But you've got to figure out some way of automating some personalization element. So what they have here is a background which changes, it goes off. So from the list of emails you have, say it's phil@superlumen.co, it'll look at superlumen.co, it'll go to the website, take a screenshot and put it here. So I thought, this is really interesting. We're all stuck in lockdown. We're all doing Zoom meetings, even internally. So I have I took a photo of me and a colleague of mine, and we put it up here. And I put it up here as elements on the front. So it looks like we're on a Zoom meeting or a whatever meeting. And I put an element here, which is a YouTube, so people click on it, or a play button. And this element changes depending on the website. So if we look over here, edit page, it basically goes out and takes a screenshot of the person's website automatically. So it looks like we've literally checked them out, and we've taken you can't see it here, I haven't upgraded. So the concept is that we're on a Zoom call, and we're discussing you as a potential client, and we've taken a screenshot of ourselves with your website in the background, and we've made you a video. So that's the concept. And it's like, hey, first name, we were just checking out your website in our weekly Zoom meeting. We made you a quick video. Click to check it out below. So they click on that, and they get to a separate landing page, which has a calendar embedded at the bottom and a video at the top. The video and some kind of little bit of description. And the video basically says, hey, thanks so much for clicking. We were having our Zoom meeting. We believe you could be a really good, you potentially could need what we do. And this is what we do. And I think we can help this in this way. You keep a really short video, 1 minute or something like that. Just you pitch kind of what you're doing in a really friendly, calm, nice way. Don't be over salesy about it. And basically, this builds it builds a lot of trust with you straight away, because they can see your face, and people trust people rather than just seeing emails or words. So it builds trust right away. And if it is what they need, then you make it really simple, because the calendar is embedded right there and there below. And the conversion rates have been pretty insane for me, I found. So people just click on the Calendly embedded calendar there, book into your calendar right there and then. You're just getting basically phone calls booked in your calendar on autopilot. So this is my bonus tip to you: is find ingenious ways to automate the personalization. Find ways, and Lemlist has some cool features you can check out. So what benchmark should we be aiming for with our cold email? Okay, let's go over that really quickly. We have the open rate, 50%. You should be aiming for 50% or more. You can see here I'm getting 67%. 50% or more is very achievable. Don't listen to people who say 20%. That's really, you're doing something wrong. Follow the guide in this, follow how I do it in this tutorial, and you're going to get close to 50%. Next one is the reply rate. How many replies should you be getting? It should be something like 20% reply rate as well. You should be getting 20% of the people you send email to replying to you, either positively or negatively, but generally positively. 9 out of 10 should be positive. You always get some smart ass individual who will send you some bad email. Ignore it. Honestly, don't let it go to heart. There's trolls out there in whatever you do. And then the meeting rate, which is what everyone really wants, is how many meetings should you get? And the average is something like 2 to 6%. So if you're getting anywhere between 2, 3, or 4%, you're doing okay. If you're getting 5 to 6%, you're doing really, really well. So we're talking about 2 people for every 100 emails you send, you should get a meeting with. So they should be interested in your product. If not, maybe there are a few different factors here. Maybe you're not pitching it right, but more likely, often than not, it's because you're pitching to the wrong people. So maybe go back and revisit your ICP, ideal client profile, and understand who it is that really needs what you have. And you should be getting these higher meeting rates for each email you send. So if you found this useful, definitely click on the playlist that's going to be popping up now. It's all about how to get clients through outbound, how to get demos or free trials if you're a B2B SaaS company. And I'm going to be bringing out loads more videos every single week, so definitely check those out as well.